What's going on, everybody? Want to give you the opportunity to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and then also hit the alert button so you don't miss any content. If you know of somebody that's starting a small business or has just started a small business and maybe you're a little bit concerned or maybe you just think it might be good for them to hear this video or this video series, go ahead and feel free to share this with them. Also, there'll be a playlist link at the end of the series, and then I'll also put that playlist link in the description below. I'm not going to cover these in detail, the top 10 through 7, because I've already covered them in the other videos, but I will list off what they are, and then you can go back and listen to the other videos. Number 10, this is a bonus tip. You don't have an online presence or strategy. Again, not going to cover it here, but just want to tell you that that's something you need to evaluate and take a listen to that other video. Number 10, are you the best leader or manager for your business or that your team needs? Number 9, your business isn't focused or narrow enough. Don't be all things to all people. Number 8, your sales and marketing are weak. Number 7, you don't have a solid business plan or you're not following it. And then we have another bonus tip for you because, again, I'm trying to bring you value here. How good is your customer service and experience? Are you offering Nordstrom or McDonald's? And I don't have a problem saying that about McDonald's because we've all sat in those lines where they've gone on forever, orders have been wrong, hand you cups that have, Coke or drink dripping all down the side, don't wipe the napkins off. What is your customer service looking like, right? This could be the difference between you succeeding or not. I can tell you right now, and I'm going to interview this guy, my current insurance agent. He used to work for me when I moved back to Michigan, but he was the only one I called locally for the company that I was working for. And he was the only one to pick up the phone, number one. Number two, he always picks up the phone, as does his licensed sales professional that's working for him. And they always provide the best customer service. And we've stayed with them ever since we've been here, even through ups and downs in prices because of their customer service. And that is something that he stands by. So I'm going to actually interview him in the coming couple of weeks or month here, whenever we get that chance to do that, and just kind of let you hear from him. But customer service is everything. I mean, at the end of the day, when the economy is getting stuff, sometimes you'll, tighten your belt up and pay a little bit extra. I know I do, for quality versus cost savings, depending on what the job situation is. And not everybody can do that. I get it. Some people have lost their jobs, and right now just keeping the lights on is the name of the game. But I know when times are, decent and I'm not as worried about that, I will pay that extra dollar for good customer service if there's value in the product that's being offered as well. So something for you to think about. Number 6, are you charging too much? So here's the thing, right? Maybe you purposefully are charging a lot more and you have a strategy of, you don't want volume over, you don't want quantity, rather. You want to charge a little bit more and you don't want to have the high volume. And I get that, right? Maybe you're doing it on purpose, but you need to find that sweet spot of profitability as well as volume, right? And so you can't, because when times get tight, you're going to need every dollar you can. And some people may, be competing with you on a level that you haven't thought about because you're not selling enough and you're not able to address some of these other areas that we've been covering. So reevaluate your price point there, right? It's something that you always have to do. You have to be aware of market trends and changes that are going on so that you are in the position to make sure that you're maximizing, what you're charging. Maybe you lower your costs a little bit and you pick up 3 more customers. If your strategy is not to have fewer customers and a higher price point on there, I get that. But if you want more customers, you have to evaluate how much you're charging. And part of the way that you do that is looking at what your competitors are charging. Sometimes your competitors are charging too little. They're not going to be around long also because they don't have enough profit margin on there to compete with you. You have to find that sweet spot, something that's not going to scare people off, and then make the adjustments accordingly. And then there's other things that come into play too, what you're being charged for materials or downstream services. So keep an eye on that. That's very important. And it might be the reason that you ultimately fail because you don't build up enough of a customer base and loyal base to keep you in business in the long run. Number 5, and this goes right with us, are you charging them enough? you need to bid them till they flinch, right? I mean, you don't want to be the cheapest person on the block, because again, here's what I'm going to tell you, and what I tell everybody who I consult with that's going into business. If somebody comes to you for a nickel, they're going to leave you for a nickel. So you need to figure out how to charge enough that you're making enough profit on it and it's worth your time, but also to the point of where, you know, you're not going to overcharge and not get enough customers in the door. And I think that that's almost more important sometimes, to charge on the higher end anyway, because sometimes if you charge too little, and there's a ton of studies out there that if you don't charge enough, people don't value the product or the service that you're offering, right? And so there's something psychological about it, versus if you know, bump something up a little bit higher to the higher end of things, people just generally think that, hey, this must be worth it, and maybe they'll think about you over that person who's charging less. Your competitor may have a better service than you do or product, but because they're charging so low, they don't get that second thought, right? And you think about it, if you put a bid out for work on your house, right? You always, maybe you're that person that always takes the lowest bid. Typically things don't work out well for that as well, if that's your strategy in life. I don't necessarily pick the lowest, but I don't pick the highest either. I pick somewhere between that mid-range and high, just because if somebody is, you know, willing to do that, and then I always also follow up and do my due diligence on, you know, their prior work and the experiences their customers have had. But I don't necessarily pick the cheapest one, and I'm willing to pay for quality. So excuse me, again, if you know somebody who's starting a business and you can't have that conversation or don't want to, maybe share this video link with them. Also click the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and click the alert button, and we'll be back and we'll cover number 4, number 3.